The clock just started ticking for the biggest political criminals in American history. For years, they thought they were untouchable. They spied, they lied, they destroyed lives with their Russian fantasy. But now top legal experts are saying two words that should terrify them: criminal conspiracy. The statute of limitations, it hasn't even begun because the cover-up never stopped. From the highest levels of the CIA to the halls of Congress, the architects of the hoax are lawyering up. New whistleblowers are coming forward. Classified documents are being declassified against CIA objections. What they try to bury is about to detonate, and the hunters have now become the hunted, so keep on watching. And while the Russia hoax architects scramble for lawyers' retirement savings face a different conspiracy, the slow theft called inflation. As we age, our body's production of collagen declines, leading to visible signs of aging like wrinkles and sagging skin. By our 40s, collagen levels drop significantly. That's why I've relied on ageless multi-collagen for years. It includes 5 key types of collagen from 4 premium sources, perfectly blended into hydrolyzed peptides your body absorbs even faster. Every order today donates a meal to hungry children through nokidhungry.org. Visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off, plus free shipping and a 60-day guarantee. That's healthwithgary.com. Linked down below. Now we're finding out, John Solomon just reporting this, another document dump is coming. Documents are pertaining to James Comey's media mole, Daniel Richman, who was responsible for shaping the Russia collusion story to the media. He admitted to the FBI that his job was to improve or polish the image of James Comey from some of the negative coverage he was getting, and to set the narrative, to basically shape the narrative on Russia collusion and other stories in Washington, according to Solomon. And guess what? The FBI and DOJ did nothing about it, again, because they were involved in the hoax. Heads need to roll. Listen to this.
That's a story for you first here on the show tonight before we even put a story up on Just the News. It turns out it wasn't the only suspected leak that the FBI came across. In fact, it identified about a dozen stories in the legacy media that drafted and created the Russia collusion narrative, which we now know to be fully debunked, that it contained national secrets. Information that was classified all the way up to the highest level, the stuff that only presidents and FBI directors get to see. Tonight, we're going to tell you about another person that they had concerns about. He was FBI Director James Comey's media mole. That's what they used to call him inside the FBI. He worked around the FBI press office as a private citizen working as a special government employee. He was a Columbia Law professor named Daniel Richman. And when the FBI finally confronted him and said, hey, what were you doing talking to the media? He admitted his job was to to improve or polish the image of James Comey from some of the negative coverage he was getting, and to set the narrative, to basically shape the narrative on Russia collusion and other stories in Washington. And when they confronted him and said, hey, you met with James Comey, you got some classified information, you then talked to a reporter very soon after who reported some of that classified information, he said this is going to turn out to be one of the great denials in all of Washington's history. There's a lot of Washington speak. This one will be remembered as a famous one. I don't think I leaked if you give me a discount, basically saying, I deny doing that with a discount. In other words, you have to give me a little discount on my truthfulness when I deny that I didn't leak that information. With that information, the FBI and the Justice Department decided, like they did with Adam Schiff, not to pursue any further criminal investigation. They didn't bring people before a grand jury. They didn't ask Congressman Schiff, now Senator Schiff, to come before a grand jury. They basically left it at these sort of wily interviews and intriguing pieces of evidence that certainly pointed to a large number of leaks. We're going to make all these documents available over the next several nights on justthenews.com. Be sure to check.
And we will be paying very close attention because we know a grand jury is about to convene. Deep state panic. CIA officials tried to gut DNI Tulsi Gabbard's declassification of the Russia hoax file. She overruled them. Trump approved it. Minimal redactions, no edits. In fact, I just met Tulsi Gabbard in the flesh over the weekend at Ron Paul's 90th birthday party. It was an amazing speech that she gave, and I was honored to tell her that she is an American hero. So let's dive into this. A just declassified 46-page House intel report shows the Obama-era officials fabricated January 27th ICA, suppressed intel that Putin expected a Clinton win, laundered shoddy sources, violated IC standards, and misled the public. CIA careerists submitted heavy redactions and edits. They wanted to keep the truth hidden. but the DNI has greater D-class authority than any IC element and doesn't need their sign-off, and Gabbard released it. Trump backed it with maximum transparency. The declassified documents show the Obama team manufactured an assessment they knew was false to sell a lie that Putin colluded with Trump, working hand in glove with friendly media to undermine a sitting president. Of course, they wanted to keep it hidden. Even CIA Director John Ratcliffe strongly supported the release despite internal pushback. Translation, parts of the intel deep state fought sunlight. Leadership sided with disclosure. Elections really matter, and that is why they tried to prevent Trump's election. Democrats screamed at sources and methods, right? That was, remember the ones that they kept screaming those words? Senator Mark Warner called the release desperate and irresponsible. Funny how national security always means hide the receipts when the receipts hurt them. Trump on Obama says he's guilty. This was treason. They tried to steal the election. Speaker Mike Johnson, Congress may subpoena Obama over alleged coordination with intel to frame Trump as a Russian asset. Let's hope that happens. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi has formed a DOJ strike force and convened a grand jury to pursue indictments tied to the hoax. If the IC was weaponized against voters, accountability must be criminal, not political. The bottom line here, the 2017 Russia ICA wasn't intelligence, it was a coup attempt, rushed and triggered to smear Trump before he even took office. The declassified documents are clear, which is why they try to hide them even now. Continuing here, the Russia collusion hoax, impeachment, attempted assassination, and campaign for Harris. These people are lucky we don't liberate them, says dissident Wookie, and giving us a list of people. The July 25th call leak conspirators, Alex Vindman, Eric Ciaramella. He was the whistleblower that nobody was allowed to ever speak or utter his name. Abigail Grace, Sean Misko, and then Adam Schiff. The line leads to Adam Schiff. And we have this, the Russiagate architects, such as John Brennan, are likely to be charged with criminal conspiracy. That's according to Mike Davis. And speaking on Fox News, let's check in.
Under 18.
Well, we have particular vulnerability, do we not, for John Brennan, who testified before Congress. The allegations come from, well-placed individuals that he could have committed perjury, along with others who testified before Congress. Do you see that as one of the main charges that could come out of this grand jury?
That's one of the charges, is perjury. Another charge that I think is most likely is a conspiracy charge, maybe conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S.C. Section 241. And remember, when you have an ongoing conspiracy, when you are covering up that conspiracy, the statute of limitations does not begin to start tolling. And so this is an ongoing criminal conspiracy. The people who are perpetuating this conspiracy are still covering it up. And so, again, I would say to these lawfare Democrats, lawyer up, because justice is definitely coming.
Yeah, weaponizing the intel community against a candidate or an incoming president. We've never seen anything like that before in American history, if that's what the facts end up showing, Mike. Well,
so far the facts do show that, Laura. Okay, let's keep moving right along here. Trump's team, Moore says Trump's team misclassifies a payment to Stormy Daniels. Trump gets convicted of 34 felonies. Hillary Clinton's team pays for the creation of the Steele dossier, which causes immeasurable damage to the country, and misclassifies the payment, an $8,000 fine. Right?
Letter reveal. Welcome back. So is it accountability? The Federal Election Commission is now fining Hillary Clinton and the Democrat National Committee over the way it paid a firm to produce the notorious Steele dossier.
There you have it. There is the FEC fine for Hillary Clinton. She paid the fine admitting guilt. So it goes directly to Hillary Clinton. Right there. It's in black and white. She paid it out.
Campaign has been fined $8,000 and the DNC slapped with a $105,000 penalty after a 2016 letter revealed that they violated campaign finance rules. The FEC says both parties failed to properly report payments for opposition research and the production of the dossier, instead labeling the payments legal services. Former President Trump now asking, where do I get my reputation back? Dagan McDowell,
Yeah. He's getting his reputation back by launching this investigation. Here we have this. A Democrat whistleblower told the FBI that Adam Schiff approved leaking classified info on Donald Trump.
And tonight, breaking news and new developments as the Russia hoax continues to unravel. According to our...
Listen, okay, I've been covering this for years. Literally freaking years. How many times I've heard Sean Hannity say Russia. It's probably the most annoying thing to constantly have to cover. And the fact that we're still talking about it now is just mind-blowing. But I'm relieved that we're finally, after all these years, finally getting some justice and some transparency for this. But the perp walks need to begin. Charges need to be filed. Let's continue watching Sean Hannity here for a moment.
And John Solomon, and a new report tonight just out, and he will join us in just a moment. A Democrat whistleblower repeatedly was warning the FBI beginning in 2017 that the congenital liar, Adam Schiff, had authorized leaking classified information to smear President Trump, which, by the way, could be a violation of the Espionage Act. Here with more on this breaking report, the editor-in-chief, founder, chief investigative reporter, justthenews.com, John Solomon. This is a big story, and this is a Democratic whistleblower, and there might be other Democrats implicated as well, like Kinzinger.
Yeah, well, one of the guys that's in here is Eric Swalwell. Now, that is secondhand information from the whistleblower, but the whistleblower actually attended a meeting with Adam Schiff when he was ranking member. Yeah.
I stand corrected. It was... they both hate Trump, so I kind of mix them up.
Yeah, they all merge together these days. Listen, this whistleblower literally sat in a meeting, he tells the FBI, where Adam Schiff authorized the leaking of classified secrets to dirty up Donald Trump and to try to build towards either a select committee in Congress or a special prosecutor. This whistleblower was a career intelligence officer. He had worked for the House Intelligence Committee, Democrat staff for a dozen years when he came forward to the FBI. He gave 4 interviews. He gave very specific information to the FBI, and nothing happened. Why? Because the Justice Department simply decided to take a pass. How many times have we sat around in the last decade and heard, we're going to get to the bottom of that classified leak, and then a few months later, we couldn't get to the bottom of that classified leak. In the case of Adam Schiff, they got to the bottom of some classified leaks, but the Justice Department chose not to act. So tonight, past attorney generals, people like Merrick Garland and Jeff Sessions and Rod Rosenstein, who was acting on Russiagate, they've got some serious questions answered. Did they know about this Adam Schiff stuff? Why did they allow it to be passed on? And will anything happen in the current Justice Department?
My question, wasn't it a hearsay so-called whistleblower that led to the entire Ukrainian impeachment? Just refreshing my memory.
Yeah, exactly. And it turns out that what he described in the call wasn't actually an accurate description of what happened. In this case, eyewitness in the room with Adam Schiff, able to deliver to the FBI. The good news is that Akash Patel has gotten these documents to Congress. By the way, this is the first of several major leak investigations we're going to see over the next several days. You're going to see other major people that were clearly identified by the FBI as having leaked classified secrets. Their own staff turned them in when interviewed by the FBI. Nothing again happened. It's a common pattern. The question now is, in Donald Trump's Justice Department, does that dynamic change?
Let's just hope and pray. Now, in case you missed this, over the weekend, Project Veritas released this video of a whistleblower that implicates Bill Barr holding secret meetings to plot prosecutions of Trump and block his political comeback. Bill Barr was like, we should bring RICO because it's a very difficult type of charge to defend. Patricia Lalis is the whistleblower. And in the documents that she brings forward, you can see some of them on the screen here, she has text messages that declare, after she fled the country, that they wanted these documents back and that they regret not doing her in.
It's very easy to know why I am being prosecuted and no one else. It's being charged or prosecuted. It's very easy. I called the FBI to report Bill Barr and Armstrong Williams. I have notes of every single meeting. One meeting can be about visa for someone, Or another meeting can be about January 6th or RICO case. I have a quote here that was like, Barr believes the FBI will go to Trump house soon. And one thing that I heard a lot is like how they go to prevent America to have Trump again. One thing that I learned very fast and very in the beginning is like, Bill Barr is someone extremely important. And I remember the biggest conversation they had at that point, it is like, what kind of charge that we can bring against Trump? And that's when Bill Barr, and I will never forget that, Bill Barr was like, we should bring RICO because it's a very difficult type of charge to defend.
Operation Shadow Government, Episode 2.
Armstrong has this powerful friend, Plaintiff Fannie Willis. The RICO charge is one of the most hard to defend in court because under the American law, the RICO charge can be anything. Like, it's not very specific. So people who is charged with RICO case, they have a very hard time to defend themselves. We had this meeting with Fannie Willis. At that point, I didn't have idea about her, what she worked with. I just don't know her. And she presented herself as like someone who's close to Armstrong, someone who's attorney. And all the time I was like, okay, it's just like one more meeting that we had. And then in these meetings, that's when I started to take notes and like try to keep everything to prove that what's going on. One thing that I understood very well is like Bill Barr and Armstrong and all the politicians too, they're very focused like in how they go to stop Trump. And one thing that I heard a lot is like how they go to prevent America to have Trump again. So in my views of politics, what I think it is, they probably realized very soon that if Trump runs again, he probably will win the election, as he did. So in that point, they just want to like prevent that. One of these meetings, for example, was launched in March 15 of 2022. And this meeting was at Sinclair Broadcast. And in this meeting was when I like started to learn more about Fannie Willis and about some guy called Jack Smith and about investigation involving January 6th. I have a quote here that was like, Barr believes the FBI will raise, and I put it in parentheses, go to Trump house soon. That's when was like I start to learn and to be sure about what they're doing. Was like they're planning and they create crimes and situations to go after everyone. In that meeting, we also spoke about the meeting that we had with Facebook, and the person in Facebook was helping us and giving us direction to create content against Trump and against the January 6th was called Daniele. That was like one of the first meetings that I had about this plan they had to go after everyone who works or supports Trump. And that was back in September 13 of 2021. So in this meeting was me, Armstrong, Shermichael, and Bill Barr by phone. And they spoke about January 6th committee. They authorized the committee to investigate the events about January 6th. We started like with some names. They also gave a lot of names here. We have like Michael Flynn, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani, Jeffrey Clark, Oath Keepers, Proud Boy People, Proud Boy Group, Scott Paris, Jim Jordan, a group called Stop They Steal, Brad, again, Hafesbergen, Shamos, Ruby Freeman, Petri Cipollone, Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, and we have some target people, which is like the people they want to target more. And that was like Stuart Rhodes and Enrique Tarrio and Roger Stone. And here I have a quote. It was like Barr and Cheney once focused at Roger Stone, Rhodes, and Tarrio, and Bannon. And also in Kimberly Guilford, who is close to Trump. Armstrong goes on TV or he goes on social media.
I mean, I know all those people personally. And they are in the handwritten notes of a secretary who is in the meetings with Bill Barr to target, to stop Donald Trump. Well, he won. And now we can add Bill Barr's name to the list. Now, we were in the press conference yesterday with President Trump, and that was actually one of the questions we wanted to ask. Sadly, we did not get to get that question asked, but we will continue to seek answers if Bill Barr will now be on that list for investigations, along with Obama and Comey and Brennan and Clapper and Schiff. This ain't over yet, folks. The whole house of cards in D.C. is crumbling fast. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Justice delayed is justice denied until now. Mike Davis laid it out crystal clear. When you're still covering up the conspiracy, the clock doesn't start. That means Brennan, Clapper, Comey, the whole Russia hoax crew, they're still on the hook. Think about the double standard. Trump gets 34 felonies for a bookkeeping entry, while Hillary pays $8,000 for funding the Steele dossier that tore America apart. But here's what changes everything. Tulsi Gabbard has just bulldozed the CIA's attempt to hide the truth. Minimal redactions, no edits. The files they desperately wanted buried are coming out. Do you believe the Russia hoax conspirators will actually face prison time? Drop your answer below. Because if they walk free after what they did to this country, we don't have a justice system. We have a protection racket. Make sure on your way out, you grab your American Badass gear from our shop and show America where you stand at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.